Good morning. Welcome back to Open Medicine. This is part of series of lectures on neurophysiology. Today I'll be discussing neuron and neuroglia, structure and functions, a few points on nerve growth factor. Let us start. What is a neuron? Neuron is the basic structural and functional unit of nervous system. So here you can see the neuron. This is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. It's an important point to be kept in mind. Let us look into the structure of neuron. Neuron has got a cell body. So this is the cell body. This has got small projections like this called dendrites. And there is a prominent one called the axon. So these are the three major parts of the neuron, that is cell body, dendrites and axon. Remember this. Now look at the cell body. Cell body is otherwise called soma. Somatic, you know the somatic, so here is the soma. It has got the major thing, it contains the nucleus. And there are certain bodies called the nissl bodies. So remember this, nissl body. Nucleus is the center of metabolic activity and protein synthesis. So it contains ribosomes, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, rough endoplasmic reticulum. All these things are present in the cell body. The nissl granules or nissl bodies are absent in the part where the axon is originating, called the axon hillock. So nissl bodies are absent there. So now we look into what is dendrite. So these are the dendrites. Dendrites receive impulses. So the cell body gets impulses. It travels along the dendrites to the soma. So this is the point to remember. They receive impulses and conduct towards the cell body, and it increases the surface area of the neuron. Now we look at the axon. So as mentioned, this is the axon. So what is the axon? Axon conducts impulses away from the soma. And this is this part where the axon starts in the cell body is called the axon hillock. It's a trigger zone. We'll learn about it later. And in the axon there is transport. Materials are getting called axonal transport. There are two types of transport, fast transport and slow transport, about which we will study later. There are different classifications for the neurons. Depending upon the function, we will classify into sensory neurons. These are neurons that receive sensations. Motor neurons, these are concerned with the motor activity, that is muscle contraction. And there are other neurons which are called interneurons, that is, they communicate between the neurons. This is the functional classification. The structural classification, you divide into unipolar. Only one axon is there. There is not much. Some days it is called bipolar. So this is the bipolar. This is a pseudo unipolar, that is only there is a cell body from which the axon divides into two. It's called a pseudo unipolar, and there are neurons which are multipolar. There is a axon is there, multiple dendrites are there, so this is a multipolar. So that is how you functional and structural classification. The nervous tissue contains not only neurons, it contains supportive cells. The supporting cells are called the neuroglia. They are the supporting cells of the nervous system. They are not part of the conduction of impulses. So remember, they are not part of neuronal conduction. It is only supporting cells. The neuroglia or the supporting cells in the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system are different. The central nervous system, they are the major things are the astrocytes. Then there is oligodendroglia, microglia, and ependymal cells. What is the function of astrocyte? Astrocyte is major supporting cell. So here you can say that here the different cells are there. This is the astrocytes are the major supporting cell. They are very much important in the maintenance of the blood-brain barrier. So these cells are important in maintaining the blood-brain barrier. That is, from the capillaries in the brain, all materials cannot enter the CNS. They are protecting the vessels. They are important as nutritional support. Then the oligodendrocyte. The central nervous system myelination is by oligodendrocytes. So you see, very important thing to remember, the CNS myelin is formed by oligodendrocytes. Microglia are actually concerned with the immune function. They are the phagocytic cells in the central nervous system. In the bacteria or virus, this protects the body for the CNS. This by the microglia. Then the ependyma is the lining of the CSF. Then comes the peripheral nervous system. The neuroglia and the PNS are different from the central nervous system. There are two types of supporting cells. One is the Schwann cells. The Schwann cells are concerned with myelination. So that is, this is the nerve. It has got a protective covering. This covering is formed by the Schwann cells. So remember, the myelin in the peripheral nervous system is formed by Schwann cells. In the central nervous system, it is by the oligodendroglia. That is why myelination, demyelination, that is disease affecting the myelin, the central nervous system will not affect the peripheral nervous system. The satellite cells are other type of cells which are similar to that of the astrocytes. Function is same. It is mainly seen in the ganglia and has got a protective function. So ganglia cells are surrounding neuron bodies in sensory and autonomic ganglia mainly. Function is similar to astrocytes in the central nervous system. Now we go to the nerve growth factors in GF. There are, one of them is neurotrophin. It is essential for survival. It acts via the tropomyosin receptor kinase A. Short form is called TRKA receptor. So neurotrophin is one of the major nerve growth factor which is essential and it acts through TRKA receptor, tropomyosin receptor kinase A. So this is the picture of the receptor where the nerve growth factor acts. Details we'll study later. So the functions are, it prevents apoptosis, promotes axonal growth, synapse formation, etc. So nerve growth factors are essential. There are other nerve growth factors. One is the BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor, ND3, ND4, ND5, etc. Different cytokines are also important. This there for the neuroinflammation, the TNF alpha, tumor necrosis factor, interleukin 1, interleukin 6. These are all involved in the neuroinflammation. So today I studied about the structure, basic structure of the neuron, the supporting cells, and few words on nerve growth factor. Stay tuned for further videos. Thank you.